Tu B'Av, Chamisha Asar B'Av, as the Gemara points out very, very dramatically, one of the most happiest days, if not the happiest days of the year, days when Shidduchim were prepared, where people were able to start a new mishpacha and continue all of the dairos of Klal Yisrael, has a tremendous number of significances. The most famous one, of course, was that on Tu B'Av, the people stopped dying in the Midbar. But Rabbi Elimelech Biderman, who soll sein gesund und stark, brings down another source, and he says, and the Gemara is brought down, that on Tu B'Av, people noticed that the days were starting to get shorter. In fact, we're starting to notice that now. Shabbosim are getting shorter and shorter. I'm saying this now here, right before Tisha B'Av, where we're starting to daven earlier on Shabbos because the days are getting a little bit shorter. So what's the significance of the happiness of the days getting shorter? So we know that the longer that the night is, the more chance to learn, number one. Number two was, why did they make that day a Simcha Dika day? Because that was the day that they finished cutting the eitzim for the maracha, for the atzim maracha, cutting the wood for the maracha. Why? Because these were the hot days where the wood would not have any worms in it, because you would not want to bring chas v'shalom, wormy infested wood, into the Beis Hamikdash to use in the Heichal. Okay, so since they were not doing the wood cutting anymore, they had more time to learn. So therefore, it's a great reason they had less time to learn. In fact, it's Gemara in Bava Basra. Okay, and he says because they're able to learn. Okay, they're preparing wood for the Mizbeach, but now they're able to learn, to just show you Torah learning even is higher than preparing the stuff for the Beis Hamikdash. Very good. Now he comes bring down a fascinating story. Rabbi Melech would tell people, you want to live a long life? Learn 2 Mishnaises and Pirkei Avos before you go to sleep. It'll add years to your life, and you would repeat it, years to your life. The Yid called Rab Zindel Kreuzer was once sitting with a Yid who wanted to make a Kabbalah. He wanted to do something to make his life much more meaningful, as if it wasn't meaningful. So he told him, I think it's a great idea to accept upon yourself to learn 1 more minute of Torah every single day. He was expecting something big. He wanted something dramatic. He was disappointed. If I'm going to add another 60 seconds on my learning, how is that going to improve my life? He showed him the Rashbam, again in Bava Basra. Is that on the same daf? It sure is. That the change in the nighttime hours was barely felt from one day to the next. The whole difference between Chamisha Asar and Yud Daled B'Av was just a moment. But for that moment, that the day was to drop shorter, they were able to learn more, that was a day of celebration. Now, if you're good at math, you'll be able to figure out what I tell you is true, but you'll take my word for it. You can check it out, as Casey said. From Tu B'Av until Rosh Hashanah is 45 days. Is 45 days. So what? It's 45 days. This is the way we can start now, even before Rosh Chodesh Elul, to be Makabel Pnei Shechina, to be Makabel Kodesh Baruch Hu and the Melech on Rosh Hashanah. And in fact, he brings down, which I had never heard of, there were those who started to say Ksiv Chsim Toiva starting from Chamisha Asar B'Av, because I thought it was appropriate for that time. Now, what does the pasuk say in Sefer Devarim? Va'ata Yisrael, Ma Hashem Elokecha Shroel Mi'imach. What does the Kodesh Baruch Hu ask from you? Kim Liras Hashem. And as my sisters, all Zizang Gesundnishtak said, by Moshe Rabbeinu, it was a Milsa Zutra, so it's a little thing. Kim Yiras Hashem. For us, Yiras Hashem is a big deal. But for Moshe Rabbeinu, it was Ma. Wah! Nachnu Ma. What are we? Nothing. V'ata Yisrael, and now, Ma Hashem L'kach Hashem Yimach. What is Hashem asking from you? What is Hashem asking from you? And you can change the syntax around and say, Ma Hashem Elokecha Shalom Me'imach. Hashem is asking from you, Ma. What's Ma? Mem Hey, 45. Hey, pretty impressive, huh? I was impressed when I saw that. The word Ma is 45. These are the days that Hashem asks from us. Give us 1 more minute of that day, and then we'll maybe, hopefully, be ready to prepare to encounter HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech Malchei Amlachim. Hashem creating the world anew as the king, and if we work with it, and if we put in a little haraving and schwitzing, we will be ready. We have to be ready. Very important to be ready. Always be ready to serve Hashem. Have a happy Tu B'Av.